We know your summer break time is precious, balancing jobs, internships, and beach days with your friends. When it's finally time to wind down for the day, you don't want to spend hours scrolling through Netflix looking for a film, or when you finally find one, getting a few minutes in and finding out it's awful. Welcome to Who's Watching,
where we watch so you don't have to. Today, we'll be looking into the film Two Hearts, so let's get into it. Based on a true story, Two Hearts follows the dueling lives of two very different individuals. 19-year-old Chris, a recent high school graduate, is enjoying his first year as a college student when he falls madly in love with college senior Sam. A parallel love story is seen through the second main character, Jorge, a 30-year-old Cuban businessman who falls in love with a flight attendant named Leslie. Throughout the film, the audience is left wondering what exactly is tying these two very different lives together. As the film progresses, it becomes very noticeable that both men are dealing with health issues, which eventually leads them to both needing to be hospitalized, which is where their stories collide. So Sam, I personally have a lot of opinions about this film, both good and bad, but first, what did you ultimately think?
Yeah, well, I think the standout character was Chris. He not only was a relatable college-age student, but his character was very goofy, innocent, and really just loving life to the fullest. So I feel like he was a very relatable character, and I connected with him emotionally, and he was kind of the character that guided me through the film personally.
No, I definitely really agree with that, and I think that the producers really do a good job with making Chris that goofy college student. He's a first-year college student, and he falls in love with a senior. Like, that's super relatable for a lot of students. However, now Jorge on the other side, I think he kind of was sidelined in a way because they really followed that basic Hollywood lover man type of presentation on him. So I was definitely more fond of Chris throughout the film instead of Jorge. But what did you quickly think of Jorge?
Yeah, I would agree with you that Jorge kind of followed that extra romantic type of character, and it almost made the film a more cheesy romance than I think it would have been otherwise. But ultimately, if you get past the questionable acting at times, you can really develop an emotional connection to these characters, and towards the end, I will even admit that I shed a few tears.
No, I definitely did too. I shed a lot of tears. I honestly was kind of surprised because I don't really like rom-coms, but despite the terrible acting, as you mentioned, I was really surprised to see myself actually cry towards the end. But with that all being said, what would you give this film? I would rate it personally a 5 out of 10.
Yeah, I think I would rate this film a 6 out of 10, solely because Chris really won me over.
Wow, yeah, you know, I'm a 5 out of 10 staying like that just because, again, terrible acting and this too much goofiness where I just kind of broke out laughing because the acting was pretty cheesy at times.
Yeah.
But I guess ultimately, who's watching?
Somebody. If you're into romantic films that have a little bit of a cheesy tone to it, this film is for you. With WUVA, I'm Samantha Bonde.
And I'm Danielle Faul. Tune in next week for another episode of Who's Watching.